Not all of these spirits are in the place of light. Robert Earl says, "If there is a hell, I am sure I have tasted it, but I am growing wiser, better, happier. I wish to say a word or two to my friends. They don't live near me. They don't live near us. I've been here a short time, a few years only, and I've been in darkness till about 3 months ago, when I began to see. Yes, I began to see and saw through a little fella that used to be with me when I was on earth. Oh God, did I ever think it would come to that? At the beginning, I was a habitual drunkard, and it was rum that sent me from earth to the sphere I first inhabited on coming here, ere it was my appointed time. Now what shall I say to benefit my friends? I have a wife who is in a position to be an instrument of great good if she will. I cannot go directly to her. I want to, but cannot. She's a good soul, but she has her faults like everybody else. What shall I say to make her believe? I'm lost, entirely lost. Darkness returns to my spirit every time I come to earth, for I do not know what to say to make my friends believe. I belonged in Providence, Rhode Island. My name was Earl, Robert Earl, and I kept the hotel, the Earl House, and my wife still keeps that same house. What shall I do to make her know I am with her? It's as if the spirit is asking for our advice. What a vast amount of good she might do. What a vast amount I might have done. I had plenty of money. She has plenty. I want her to use my money in a manner that shall benefit the world. She's not going to stop on earth long. She has the dropsy, and before she has any idea of it, she will find herself with me. She thinks she's well now, but she is far from it. I want her to have light. She's a good woman. I want to benefit her. I don't want her to wait until just before she gets ready to come to me, before she gives away her store, but to do so as charity demands, that she may have the blessings of accumulating on earth. I want her to stop rum selling in that moral hell downstairs. She can do it. She is the power, and I want a heaven there instead of a hell. Yes, I may aspire too high, but I want her to be the best woman who now lives on Narragansett shore. Yes, friend, I sold rum. I drank rum, and I have received my punishment for it since I've been here. I was called a kind-hearted man, but there was always a hell within. I wanted to do something to cast that hell out, so I tried to do a little good. When she goes up in the room we used to call our private room, I go too, and often, and I try very hard to let her know that I am there, but I cannot do it. Well, stranger, perhaps I shall meet you again. Well, I do hope, Robert Earl, that you are able to get that message across to your wife, and that she's able to mend her ways before it's too late. You're a noble soul. Let's read on. Oh dear. The next message is from a child who passed over too soon. He says, I don't know you. You never saw me, did you? I know how to speak through mediums. I've got plenty of fellows here to learn me. I can write through them, too, and I've been taught all about it. I'm 7 years old, or I was when I came here. I was having a nice time, and the boys I was to play with pushed me overboard. My mother was away, my father too. It was awful hot, and they were gone to the watering place, and when they came home, little Jimmy was dead. Oh, how my mother cried. I was drowned, the angels say. It was after I came home from school at night. I know when it was. I wish you could see my mother. She cries sometimes. She knows I'm here and that I can go and talk to her. Can you go see my mother? Do. She'll be glad, so glad. I'm going to see her now. Goodbye. That's just awful. Well, little Jimmy, it's quite tragic that you had to pass over too soon. But it's quite consoling to know that you are able to visit your mother and to console her. And you shall see her in good time. H.J. Gardner speaks next. He is from Hingham. Oh, he died of poison recently. Years ago I clasped to my bosom one who I supposed would be true to me, to herself, to her children, and to her God. Dark as the page, she proved unfaithful. She has proved a demon. She suffers, and so do I, so do the children, and so do the friends. I'm here, I scarce know why I was brought to you. For what purpose I know not. My name is Gardner. I live in Hingham, and I feel sad for those I've left behind. I was not for myself, but for my mother, my children. It's for them I'm unhappy. She who was a part of myself has transgressed all human and divine laws. I do not know why I returned to earth. It seems to be a mystery, to be unraveled. I would just like to say, God, forgive those who have sinned. This was my last prayer on earth, and is my first thought now. May they cease to do evil and learn to do well. May no more poison arrows be aimed at unconscious victims' hearts. May the public demand wisdom. May justice perform her mission. May charity also have an inviting place among the sterner members of the council. 'Tis for this I pray, that love may soften that adamantine heart, and it make all as it should be in the sight of man and of God. Well, we do hope, sir, that you get justice for this egregious wrongdoing. There's another Mary. She says, well, I suppose you would like to know who I am. I will tell you, I was born this side of the great waters. No old England was my native land, but I passed away in the western wilds after living in this country a short time. Oh, a pioneer. I left a father, mother, brothers, and sisters in my old England home and came here with the hope of a long earth life, but I was mistaken. I've learned much since I left earth, but I regret not having informed myself of those things while on earth. But all my people were opposed to the new light because they did not know anything about it, with the exception of one brother. He lives a short way from here, and he will rejoice at my rapid progression. I will send these lines to my friends in England. They cannot reject them. there's one in particular I've departed from, who I'm anxious about, and I wish to let him know that I am not dead. But as yet I hardly know why I am in the state I seem to be in. His name was John Ray, and he was my husband. He lives in the West, and they tell me if I give you this message, you will send it to him, and he may get it. I must go now, as I do not wish to tire you, but please tell my dear father, mother, brothers and sisters, and my dear, dear husband that I do live in the spirit life and can come and converse with them. Quite a touching message. The next is from Amos Sutton of New Hampshire. He says, the inhabitants of the earth life are continually thinking and talking about and preparing for eternity. Why, my dear friends, you are in eternity just as much now as you ever will be. The earth is your first taste of animal and spiritual existence, and it is the beginning of a life of eternal progression. Hence, it is eternity. When you lay down the animal or the earthly form in the grave, you have cast off the gross mortal part, which cannot enter heaven or the Spiritland. And you've become a spirit then, clothed with a spiritual body, which is a perfect counterpart to the animal and the spiritual combined. And when the animal and the spiritual in your nature become divided, you can no longer be considered an inhabitant of earth, because you've cast off all that belongs to earth, and the spirit seeks for a part of spiritual existence apart from the animal. This also is a state of eternal progression. Hence, it is eternity. Therefore, dear friends, as star after star appears in the firmament of progression, cease to cry out mystery, and remember, progress is written upon all nature by the fingers of deity. Oh, another George comes through. Oh, this is not my George either. The medium describes a man who appears to her. She reports the young man as being an engineer of about 30 years of age. And he told her that he wanted to show her something. He says nothing. He just shows her a train of cars, and she sees that the bridge is up at the train, and the train's moving along. Oh, mercy, she says. I can hear the screams. Oh dear, the whole train goes down. The bridge was up, and they fell. Oh, see the crowd coming, mercy, what cries. Oh dear, dear. There's one they've picked up. His head is all smashed and literally stove to pieces. She says, let me see if I can find out who it is. Yes, it's the same man who was standing there showing her the scene. He's the engineer. The crowd are looking at him to see if he's dead. And the spirit says, my name is George Palfrey. That's my body that you now behold. It happened in the year 1851. The bridge was down. At Elliott, Maine, it was the 5 o'clock train on the Eastern Road coming up from the east, going to Newmarket. There was no water under the bridge, which was up by mistake, and the cars fell. It's as if that spirit needed us to know how he passed and to express his regret and sorrow over that accident. And I do hope, George Palfrey, that your spirit finds rest and that you're able to forgive yourself as the engineer of that train, for it wasn't your fault. You're not to blame. Frederick Gray speaks next. It says, "To my dear friends on earth, you have known me in my pilgrimage. As I now return and bless you for many favors I have received at your hands, I am now free from the prison house of death. Yes, I'm beyond the confines of the tomb, and it becomes my pleasure as well as my duty to come and manifest to my friends on earth. Oh, ye dear ones, listen to the voices from the Spiritland and compare them with the Word of God, and you shall find harmony there, and receive those words like meat in due season, and your soul shall wax strong by eating thereof. Let no man or the spirit of man deceive you. Hold fast to all that is good and pure." It can't be. Oh, but it is. That's the last message from the Spiritland. I'm quite disappointed that none of those I reached out to took hold of my hand and communed with me. Hopefully one of your loved ones made contact with you through this publication. Pardon? What's that you say? None of your dear ones reached out to you either? Let us not get discouraged. Oh, well, yes. Well, yes. The Spirit's communications touched my spirit as well. Their messages, though not directed towards me specifically, I found most uplifting, encouraging, comforting, enlightening. They had a similar effect on you as well. You felt chills and tingles along your spine, almost as if the spirits were moving through you. What you describe is not too dissimilar from what I experienced myself. Well, then I suppose this session, this occasion was not for naught. And I'll go to our convention once again next week. Hopefully those who we long to hear from will have a message in this next edition of the Thunder of Light that comes out of Boston, Massachusetts. So go in safety, go in light and in hope, and may spirits, those whom have been separated from you for the time being, make their presence known to you. Sleep.